Los Angeles, a city of hopes and dreams. But for many, the reality of life brings a different kind of obstacle, where it's a struggle to survive, let alone to dream.
Hello, my name is Lucia Valles. I'm 43 years old and a mother of 3. Just a few years ago, I was a victim of domestic violence and I was undocumented. I didn't know where to go until I found the Law Center. They changed my life.
At the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice, we provide free family and immigration law services for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. A nonprofit law firm, we assist survivors during their most painful moments through the entire process of achieving justice. But services don't stop with a court order. Our team of social workers connects clients to therapy, shelter, and housing.
My name is Aydel Carmona. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a survivor of domestic violence and a mother of a 2-year-old. Before I got help, I was in an abusive relationship with my son's father. I was really confused once it started to get physical. I needed to figure out who to turn to, where to go to find out information on how to go about our situation. And I got referred to someone from LACLJ, and they were able to help me out and put me on the right path. If it weren't for the center, I really don't know where I'd be today. My son could have lost his mom. Since receiving the help with LACLJ, I've been able to pursue one of my dreams, which is dancing. And for all the help that LACLJ has given us, I'll be forever grateful. We represent the countless people who have received help from LACLJ.
So we ask you,
please,
help support their efforts. We all need a chance
to live, a chance to survive,
and maybe even one day,
a chance to dream.
The Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice, empowering survivors to create their own future. Visit laclj.org to learn more and give.
Good evening and welcome to the 2021 Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice Gala as we celebrate survivors. And now, please welcome your host for the evening, Christina Perez.
Good evening and welcome to the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice's 48th Annual Awards Gala, celebrating survivors. My name is Christina Perez and it is my absolute pleasure to be your host this evening. Thank you so very much for joining us. We are here to support the work of the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice on behalf of survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. In a year like no other, the incredible team at LACLJ has continued to help survivors find safety, justice, and more hopeful futures for themselves and their family. Tonight, we have the opportunity to support survivors and give them the community and legal resources they need to secure justice. You'll be hearing from 2 amazing women, both mothers, both survivors, who have overcome incredible challenges to create a new life for themselves and their children. Thank you for being with us this evening and celebrating their strength and resilience. We are also here to recognize the generous work of tonight's honorees, the Honorable Thomas Trent Lewis and Wilkinson Stekloff. Both honorees have demonstrated a steadfast commitment to the community, and we thank them for their amazing work. It's been an incredibly difficult year, as we all know. So we are so thankful that some of our speakers are able to be safely in the same room tonight after being fully vaccinated. I also want to take time to recognize our top sponsors because we could not do it without you. Thank you to Pacific Western Bank, Wasserman Foundation, and Munger, Tolles & Olson for their support at the Guardian of Justice level. And a very special thank you to Houston Hennigan for their generosity at the Leader of Justice level. Your support will make such a difference for the survivors in our community, and we thank you. Now, I'd love to get the celebration started and introduce you to Brenda Mahano and her incredibly inspiring story.
My name is Brenda Mahano. I'm 31 years old and I'm a mother of 2 children. In 2019, I was a victim of domestic violence. My ex used to beat me. He even made me stop talking to friends, and I felt completely hopeless. I was trying to go back to school to fulfill my dream of becoming a teacher, but I was really struggling since I had horrible anxiety and I didn't know what to do. Things got really bad when I separated from my ex because he didn't want to pay child support and he was threatening me to take my kids away. That's when the paternity test came back and I found out that he wasn't the father of my oldest son. I was in shock and I felt guilt because that was the main reason why I stayed with him throughout the abuse. I felt like he was in control now and there was nothing I could do about it. That's when one of my counselors at Cerritos College connected me to the LA Center of Law and Justice. I was introduced to Amanda and Carla, who helped me get legal services, mental health support, and immigration services. Even during COVID, they helped me get the help I needed. I was connected to a therapist, and all my court needs were handled. Through the help of LACLJ, I won a judgment against my ex. I won full custody of my kids, and now he's paying child support. I felt powerless and alone before, but today I feel like for the first time I have my own identity. Now I feel in control, I feel empowered, and I want my story to be an example for others that are struggling. Even if you feel you have no hope, even if you have a complex situation, just know that there's somewhere that you can turn. LACLJ helped rescue me when I had nowhere to turn. And thanks to them, I'm pursuing my dream of becoming a teacher today. I really hope others hear my story and get help like I did. And maybe there are people out there who will see this video and be inspired to support LACLJ and champion their cause. Without the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice, I don't know where my life will be today. For the first time in years, I can finally breathe. I can finally smile. My name is Brenda Mahano. This is my story. Now go support LACLJ.
Wow, thanks Brenda for sharing your story with us.
Brenda's story is incredible. The greatest honor in serving on the LACLJ board is getting to be a part of these amazing survivors' journeys and starting a new life.
Yeah, and as Brenda said, we hope that you'll be inspired tonight to support our mission and help serve low-income survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault.
Hey Kristen, I support our mission. So how can I give tonight?
Well, that's great. It's easy with our text to give feature. All you need is a smartphone.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Well, open your message app and send a text to 41444. In the text, just type survivor, the amount you want to donate, your name, and a short message you want to share with everyone.
Okay, so I have my phone and I'm going to text 41444 and write survivor, Matt Cave, $148, and lastly, go LACLJ.
All right, you hit send?
Yep.
All right, very, very creative. Go LACLJ. It's that simple, and your message and donation will appear on our screen throughout the show, so choose your words carefully. Click on the link that will text you back to complete your gift, and you're done.
Cool. That was really easy. Hey, want to know why I donated $148?
Yeah, tell me. Does it have to do with LACLJ celebrating its 148th anniversary?
Well, actually the 40th anniversary, but that would be cool if we were 148 years old.
It would be.
Yes, exactly. So we want everyone to donate whatever they can, whether it's 48, 148, 548, and so on and so on.
Yeah, or 1,048. That'd be great. Now, everyone get to texting. We're counting on your support to be able to continue to provide legal representation for survivors and their families.
All right, back to you, Christina.
Thank you, Matt and Kristen. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our first honoree of the evening. LACLJ relies on our amazing volunteers to help us provide compassionate and high-quality legal representation, absolutely free for low-income survivors. Over the years, the team at Wilkinson Stekloff has not only taken on pro bono cases, but they've become a leader and a strong advocate for survivors and have changed their lives for the better. One such case was of a survivor who had a very difficult and complex situation. She was a mother of 4 and experienced domestic violence during her marriage of 10 years. Wilkinson Stekloff took on her case that included custody, child support, divorce, and sharing of a community property. Roxy and Rahul represented the survivor in this long trial and were able to procure the court to grant our client sole legal and physical custody of her children. The court also recognized that the child abuse and domestic violence in the marriage and ordered that their marital home be sold and the proceeds split. Thank you to Wilkinson and Stekloff, that family can begin to start a new life and a mother can proudly support herself and her children. On behalf of all of us at LACLJ, I thank you for your incredible generosity and present you the 2021 Pro Bono Partner of the Year Award to Wilkinson Stekloff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are honored to accept this award from LACLJ on behalf of Wilkinson Stekloff. LACLJ does amazing work for thousands of Angelenos every year, and we are proud to be a part of their pro bono network.
Absolutely. As I'm sure everyone watching this live stream knows, there are so many domestic violence restraining order petitions filed every single year, and just a small fraction of those petitioners are represented by counsel, making what LACLJ and this pro bono network do all the more important.
Definitely. And I think our case is a good example of why counsel in these cases is so important. There were decades worth of facts to go through. There were third-party subpoenas, depositions, contentious motions practice, and even opposing counsel at trial.
Exactly, which is why we were so glad to be able to help our client throughout this whole process. And we really do have to take a moment to thank our client, Ruth, for being so wonderful to work with. Ruth, you, your sister Vivian, and your beautiful 4 daughters were all such a pleasure to work with. And we really appreciate you trusting us throughout this whole process.
Definitely. And we want to end by encouraging everyone who's listening, who's able to take one of these cases and to help keep LACLJ's pro bono network strong. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Beth Broderick, and I'm proud to serve on the host committee for this year's gala, celebrating survivors. Firstly, I want to thank all of you for being here. Your donation will help pair a victim of domestic abuse with an expert legal team that can help guide her and her family to safety, give them hope and a chance to thrive. Too many women and families fall through the cracks in our city. I am so grateful that the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice is there to help. And you can help too. To donate, text SURVIVOR to 41444. Again, that's SURVIVOR to 41444. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Hi everyone from the LA Center of Law and Justice. My name is Cindy Shea and we are Mariachi Divas! This is just for you! Diva, por mi manera de cantar, por mi manera de bailar. Diva, viva la diva de verdad.
Carmen, it's good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
It feels like a lifetime ago since we've been here in the same space together.
It's really weird to be here.
What do you remember about that? Kind of leading up to that, what do you remember?
Being completely overwhelmed and thinking, how are we going to transition an entire office of over 30 people to working remote? And how are we going to continue to access our clients who don't have technology and or speak English? I was completely overwhelmed by that. There were so many things we had to quickly pivot to do. Were there anything particular that made you nervous about the change?
Oh my goodness, you know, I remember you and I specifically having a conversation that we were very committed to making sure that we kept everyone on staff.
That really was wonderful. I know that so many folks were losing their jobs, and we were worried being a nonprofit, and we were having to be faced with canceling fundraising events. And it was such a great, important commitment to be able to tell our team that no one is getting laid off.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. And that we, you know, I think we're both single moms, and we identify a lot with our staff and our clients that we're struggling with suddenly being at home without childcare.
Not only trying to figure out how to navigate our staff, our people, but also figuring out how we were going to serve our clients. With our model being such a genuine interaction between clients and staff, now trying to figure out the remote world.
It felt insurmountable initially. A lot of our clients don't have stable internet or even a phone that works all of the time. And so reaching them, a lot of times they would want to come into the office. The big hurdle became that our clients who are already not safe at home were trapped at home. And LA Police Department lobbies closed. Our office closed. Schools closed, which were often a place where abuse was identified. And so it was literally the worst nightmare for many of our clients.
On one hand, we had tried to be very, very flexible with our staff, right? We said, figure out your time. When you can log on, be available for clients, be available for meetings, but if you have to step away, step away. And then there was the other challenge of our clients want to hear someone live on the phone, right? And so how do we balance those two very, very different needs and priorities? And so we were able to bring in an answering service that could answer, I think it was over 2,000 calls we were getting at one point.
It was really great. I was so excited for that out of the box thinking, because we just getting the calls forwarded to staff's cell phones, sometimes it wouldn't ring enough for them to get to the phone to answer it, and we were really worried about losing those calls. And we heard some folks think that we were closed, and so we immediately talked to everyone about this answering service. And in fact, several other nonprofits took our lead and also got answering services, and so it felt different for the nonprofit legal world. We also were hearing that because sometimes it's not safe to be on the phone at home, email or texting became another way to access our services. And so a lot of our staff downloaded Google Voice numbers to their phones so they could text while protecting their private phone numbers.
That was actually one of our gaps, was technology, right? Being
Yes.
able to supply every staff member with a good functioning laptop.
Yes. Well, a lot of the remote platform made some access easier because you could see your client by video. Like, I know I've said I'll never make a client get on a bus and multiple buses to get to our office that might take an hour and a half with children, when we could just offer a video appointment. But there are challenges that come with that.
Yeah. And it's kind of changed the way we can do business now, right? We've looked at things very differently and have allowed for those kinds of accommodations to now really implement even more a trauma-informed approach, right?
Absolutely.
And how do we really help the client feel the best in their own space and be able to still do the same job?
When our clients call us, they want to talk to a lawyer, they want to get into their court hearing, they want to apply for their immigration relief. And we now have cut through even more. Already I was proud of our model, and now even more so. Even more so, we are just going to be able to provide the service. We had many staff who were impacted themselves by COVID, and even some who lost family members to COVID. And so we also were trying to support our own team through that. And even one of our attorneys at one point had a client who was detained in an immigration detention center where COVID numbers were spiking. And our staff yet is so committed that they still went to the center to fight to get the client released despite the risks to themselves and their family of COVID.
What does support look like, right? What is it that they need to feel supported? Is it more events that we come together and host?
We really tried to be responsive, and it was great that we could be honest about it and say maybe less video calls right now.
Less funky events, hats, and crazy stuff.
Hello, I'm Noah Wyle, and on behalf of this year's host committee, I would like to thank you for joining us this evening and supporting the work of the LACLJ. In LA County, less than 10% of survivors have legal representation when they go to court to access a restraining order. A restraining order means so much more than a piece of paper to a survivor. It means recognition that the violence that they experienced was wrong. It means an opportunity to live without fear of being hurt. It's justice being served. And you can help ensure that every survivor, no matter their socioeconomic status, has access to legal representation and a better chance of safety. Text Survivor to 41444 and help a survivor access justice. Thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es Cindy Ramos, tengo 35 años y soy madre de 4 hijos. Hace 10 años viví en Guatemala con mis 3 hijos. Tuve que viajar a Estados Unidos para darles un futuro mejor. En los Estados Unidos conocí a un hombre con el cual empecé a salir. Las cosas empezaron muy bien. Rápidamente se puso abusivo y agresivo. Un día, cuando estaba limpiando casas en mi trabajo, que no podía contestar mi teléfono, me acusó de prostituta. Me agarró por el cuello, me puchó a la pared, me dijo que si yo decía algo, que él iba a mandar a matar a mis hijos, iba a matar a mi hermano, iba a matarme a mí y luego se iba a matar él. Tenía tanto miedo, no podía decir nada por las amenazas de él y especialmente porque yo era indocumentada. Cuando estaba en el trabajo, lo único que podía hacer era llorar porque tenía mucho miedo de todas las amenazas que él hacía hacia mí. Las cosas fueron empeorando, la agresividad fue empeorando, tanto que la policía tuvo que verse involucrada. Él se dio a la fuga, pero finalmente la policía lo encontró. A través de la policía, fui referida para recibir terapias en el 2015. Fue entonces cuando mi trabajadora social me conectó al Centro de Ley y Justicia y entonces mi vida cambió. Con la ayuda del Centro de Ley y Justicia solicité mi permiso de trabajo y una visa U. Ahora estoy en la lista de espera de mi visa U. En octubre del 2020 pude obtener mi permiso de trabajo gracias al Centro de Ley y Justicia. Gracias al centro he podido conseguir un mejor trabajo y tengo ahora la esperanza de que pueda reunirme con mis hijos, que hace ya 10 años que no los veo. Antes de recibir ayuda, siempre viví con miedo a ser discriminada, a ser juzgada, miedo a ser deportada, miedo que no podía vivir tranquila, y todo eso dependió del miedo que ese hombre inculcó hacia mí. El ser indocumentada no significa que usted no merezca protección. El Centro de Ley y Justicia me demostró eso y mucho más. Gracias al Centro de la Injusticia de Los Ángeles, tengo esperanza, esperanza para el futuro, esperanza para reunirme nuevamente con mis hijos y esperanza de que otras personas escuchen mi historia y puedan obtener ayuda como yo. Recuerda, no estás sola. Mi nombre es Cindy Ramos y esta es mi historia.
I'm really excited to introduce our justice nominee, Judge Thomas Trent Lewis. I remember when our board members suggested Judge Lewis, and I wholeheartedly agreed. I remember being in Judge Lewis's courtroom back in 2006 when I was a baby lawyer and getting terribly beaten up by evidentiary objections from opposing counsel. And Judge Lewis admonished him and had said something like if we continued to delay the trial, he would order us back in court every day until we finished. Judge Lewis also spoke a couple years back about the importance for having trauma-informed lawyers and trauma-informed courtrooms and understanding trauma. He was a certified family law specialist. He knew the area of law, and it was really helpful to not have to educate the bench on the law when we represented clients in front of him in court. And so his background in family law plus his commitment to trauma-informed lawyering is why I am so very honored to present our Justice Award to Judge Thomas Trent Lewis.
Okay, well, thank you, Carmen. I guess I'll open my award now and see what you have for me. And I really appreciate everybody at the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice recognizing me. And it came with a nice note, and I appreciate that. And here's the award, which is a beautiful Lucite award. I don't think you're going to be able to read it on camera, but there it is. It's very pretty, and I have just the right place for it with some other very important honors that I've received along the way. But I have to say that this award is especially important to me for three reasons. One, of course, the recognition for which I'm humbled and honored to join organizations like the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice because of the work that it does. And secondly, because of the great respect that I have for the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice, mostly because they help our most vulnerable populations, especially in Southern California. And then third, I'd like to just reflect on a couple of things. So I have grandchildren, two, who are half Irish American like me and my wife, through my mom, and also half Guatemalan. And I think about those girls all the time, that there, but by the grace of God, they might be subjected to some of the difficulties that the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice helps to preserve, especially in the Hispanic community, quite frankly. The demographics of the population it serves is particularly important. The second thing that I'd like to just reflect on is the concept of who is my neighbor. And my great mentor taught me to recognize the answer to the lawyer's question, who is my neighbor, was the parable of the Good Samaritan. And I think that charity is really reaching out to others in need. And what population is more in need than the population served by the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice? And then lastly, in terms of reflection, I think it's interesting to note the word charity. The word charity really, as we use the word, has its roots as extending help to another in need who's lacking in means. Extending help to another in need who's lacking in means. And what organization does a better job of that than the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice? In my view, there isn't. And it's such an important organization. And while I'm the honoree today, it's my honor, candidly, And it's a humbling honor indeed to be here, to recognize the important work. And but for that I'm Judge Lewis, I would be more than happy to, of course, encourage you with regard to giving, but I'm not allowed to do that. But I can say this: where do you show that you stand for law and justice? How do you show that you know who your neighbor is? What effort will you make to extend charitable love towards others? So I encourage you with those words. I'm encouraged by them, and I wish you all the very best, and God bless, and thank you very much.
Good evening, DB Sweeney here, and I'd like to remind you to text SURVIVOR to 41444 and help low-income survivors access life-changing services in our community. Tonight we're celebrating LACLJ's 48 years of service, helping families overcome challenges and thrive in LA. It's been a rough patch for everyone lately, but even more so for victims of domestic violence. So please give. Whether it's $48 or $1,048, every gift will make a profound impact on a family in need. Thank you.
Thank you, DB Sweeney. What an incredible night full of hope and inspiration. It is so important for us to continue supporting the work of LACLJ. Our program is almost over, so this is your last chance tonight to make a donation via text to give. I want to thank all of you who have already made a gift to LACLJ. And those of you who have not yet, this is your time. It's really so easy by making a text donation on your cell phone by texting SURVIVOR to 41444. Let me repeat that. You text SURVIVOR to 41444. It has been an honor being here with you tonight and sharing space with our amazing survivors and our incredibly dedicated honorees. Thank you for joining us, and let's close out the night with another incredible performance from our most talented supporters. Have an amazing evening.